We are staying on top of the race for the White House. NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell is here. Sue, let's talk. The economy, immigration, inflation, they are all issues getting plenty of attention on the campaign trail. What issue are the candidates not talking about enough?
Well, that's a great question, JC. And I would say there are two issues. There are more, but two top ones. The first is the climate crisis. Look, we just had the hottest summer in recorded history. And except at the very end of the last debate, Harris and Trump not really talking about it directly. And the second, I would say, is gun violence, which is conspicuous by its absence since Trump was the victim of a shooting and an attempted shooting. Vice President Harris was there this week when President Joe Biden unveiled a new executive order aimed at tackling gun violence. But other than mentioning that she's a gun owner, we're not hearing a lot. Both of these issues, of course, impact all Americans and are important to young voters. So I think they might get a little bit more play as we get closer to the election.
Running out of time here, though. It's not that far away. You and Corey taped an interview with Congressman Seth Moulton earlier today, which will air on this weekend's At Issue. And you asked him about Harris and how she can overcome her weakness with male voters. Let's listen to his response and we'll talk on the other side.
But much has been made of the fact that there are a lot of men who say they won't vote for her. Look, the simplest answer to that question is that it's because she's a woman. And the sad reality in America today is that there still is a lot of sexism. We see this in the workplace. We see it in politics. We've never had a woman president of the United States. So there's some discrimination going on here, and that's part of her challenge.
Sue, do you agree with the congressman's assessment?
Yeah, he's dead on right there. It's not just a struggle for Harris. Look, let's look back a little bit to what happened to Stacey Abrams. Remember, 4 years ago, she ran for governor in Georgia. She lost, and the polling just before the election showed she was struggling to win over black men. A 2023 survey on gender attitudes, it found that 4 in 10 black men don't agree that the country would be better off with more women of color in elected office. 48% said they believe women are easily offended, and nearly half said they think society punishes men for acting like men. But it's not just black men, it's also the white men. After the White Dudes for Harris event, Fox News host Jesse Waters said men who vote for a woman based on gender are childish, have mommy issues, and are trying to be accepted by other women. Let's look at some numbers here. Mexico, the UK, Italy, Canada, France, Australia, Brazil, Indonesia, South Korea, Turkey, Argentina, India, New Zealand, and Germany all have had at least one female leader. The U.S. has had 0.
That's a list.
It is.
That's a list, Sue. All right, new Bloomberg News Morning Consult poll has Harris up in 6 battleground states. There is a 7-point lead in Nevada, 5 points in Pennsylvania, both outside the margin of error. And she's also up in Arizona, Michigan, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Those, however, within the margin of error. But here's my question. If I'm a Harris supporter and I see these numbers today, I'm feeling pretty good. However, many felt the same way at this point in 2016 when they supported Hillary Clinton. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's exactly what the Harris campaign is trying to avoid. And that's why they keep calling Kamala Harris the underdog in this race. Look, I'd rather be Harris than Trump at this point, but the race is so close. And as you mentioned, those poll results, many of them are within the margin of error. So I'm sure the Harris campaign is looking at the lessons they can learn from the Hillary Clinton campaign to not take anything for granted and to campaign in all of those swing states until the bitter end.
Sounds like a tried and true method right there, Sue. As always, thank you so much. And of course, we cover all the latest political headlines every Sunday morning here on NBC 10. It kicks off at 10:30 with Meet the Press, moderated by Kristen Welker. And then immediately after, join Corey and Sue and Matt for the latest episode of At Issue.